My face is swollen again. I know it's hard to see with this light, but I just want you guys to see it's swollen. So they've been doing the same thing again because as I'm going through what they're saying, they're upset because during this process, and I told you guys this is like a psychoelectronic torture, and it makes people mentally ill. So they're upset that in my previous videos, they said one in particular. And if I can find it, I'll find it. Otherwise, I'll just show you a previous video. They were upset that they talk about certain things, and then I tell you guys, I'm allowed to do that. So they said, oh, this is like therapy. I'm allowed to tell you guys what's going on. So they're upset by it because this proves that they weren't doing this all along, that they came around when I was doing well. They can't say they want to take credit for things if I'm not doing well, but it also makes them look bad. So as I'm going through things and they've made up all these sorts of lies, I want to show you guys something. I'm going to pause this. So I went to this event in 2016. This was in Corp City. I'm a huge supporter of Democrats, and they talked about this event. They said they had a guy come in front of. They said me, but my mom was with me, and stand in line. And that's part of this. It's about setups. So this is a business law book from college. They said you took business. You didn't take business law. No, I took business law. So as we're talking on, like I'm talking about us, and they're saying things and they're getting everything wrong, I don't understand what the purpose was. Why do it the wrong way if you claim that you were always doing this every single day? So today they admitted they weren't. So they came up with all these lies to get me upset. Now they're upset that I've exposed this. And I'm saying, well, if you folks would lie and say you were doing this all the time, every day, and get so many things wrong and it's out loud, that doesn't make me look bad. It makes you look bad. The other point is that since my civil rights have been violated repeatedly, I'm in the bathroom, I'm wiping myself, and they're like telling what's dirty, what's not dirty. They're disgusting human beings. I don't want them in my life. So as I'm getting ready to move and I'm going to take them to court, I'm taking everyone to court at this point. This is ridiculous. Um, they're upset by this. Why be upset after you've already done it for years? So let me pause this and show you something else. This book was sold at a library fair, and it's about interior design. So when I expressed an interest in interior design, they're like, well, how could you have any interest? Because I wasn't supposed to be a full person. I was supposed to be some sort of weird extension of them. So as I start, coming across things, I'm going to show you folks so that you guys will know what I'm talking about, because other people who have been preyed upon understand this. So they lied and said that this book, which has music and lyrics, and my grandmother used to play the organ. So I grew up listening to these songs in here. They lied and said I had no exposure to music, only in school. A lot of my older relatives, I don't know why, but I guess they played organ or piano for different things. I don't know. You can look up why older people played piano and organ. But they were like, "Oh, this is full of roach poop." No, it isn't. You guys can see it. It's not. You know, the sad part about all of this and their lies about my family. Let me see if I can get that inside. The sad part about their lies about my family is meant to attack. Let me pause this, show you something else. I have in a video about the greatest generation, um, and it talks about people being born, I think, before 1931 so that they could be included. Martin Luther King was born 1929. Malcolm X was born 1925. So this is about the great Black civil rights leaders. So what I'm talking about here is that as they're saying things just to argue with me, just to get me upset, it makes my point that they weren't always doing this. They keep saying, oh, this silhouette isn't you. It's not. But that's my whole point. When they're talking about these types of issues, and they're saying these ridiculous things out loud, and they're violating my civil rights. I never consented to this. You can tell I never consented because I keep putting up tweets. They talked about an agreement between the United States and Israel about using directed energy weapons. I'll put it up on Twitter, but or x.com, but I'm not going to put it as a thumbnail in a video. And that directed energy weapons shouldn't be used. Exactly. So some things that they're talking about make sense because, of course, you shouldn't use directed energy weapons because they cause these problems. But other things are just ridiculous. They're just saying things to say things, talking just to hear them speak. So they said I used an S word for Latinos. I did not. Then they admitted, no, one of them kept using it. And they said that their father used it. Let me pause this. I want to show you something. So let me just show you a few things. This is from college, iconic memory. And this is part of what I think they were trying to do to me, which is try to keep things in my head by doing something to my head, which caused me to deal with this situation, made me sick. Okay, here's something that, when I was in college, when we had to look up things, we had to go to the computer files because they didn't have the paperwork. So some things we didn't have like in a book form. We had to like kind of print it out. And these are some of the references I used for my hate speech honors thesis. So public response to racist speech considering the victim's story. So these are some of the references. So I think what they were saying is that they were looking at these things and they thought this was something that I wrote that was hate speech. No, it was part of the thesis. Part of why this is important is because it shows that they came in here. I have to establish that this is a crime and it happened. There's no way they would have known about these things if they weren't physically here because, like I said, a lot of these things are papers. They're not on computer. So, we didn't. It's not like we had the cloud when I was in college. We didn't. So that establishes that. Let me pause this and then I'll say a few things after. Another quick thing is they just said something about the class of 95 at Fordham. And part of why I'm going to go over some things that I'm feeling is because, again, you notice how this is all about them. Somebody left a comment, and I'll post part of the comment where that person says it's like they're reading her mind. This is nothing like reading my mind. It's nothing like that. It's like the opposite of reading my mind, where I'm not thinking any of these things. What I'm telling you are things that they say, oh, then they're not thinking it either. So whatever this was supposed to be, they said they had to get close to me to kind of get my thoughts so that they can create this software, which means it wasn't created before. I'm going to, you heard that sound? I'm going to end this because later on maybe I'll think of something to say. But I think what happens is if you can see things physically, it's easier because just them yelling stuff, lying, claiming things, it's harder. But it's easier if you can actually see what I'm referring to. And if you want, look things up yourself so that it proves that I can't make this stuff up. How would I find something from the 1990s? And that book this book right here, I'm going to tell you what year this was from. I don't know if you guys can see this. September 1991. How could I have made something up in the past? Other people have this book. So for them to have lied and said, oh, my address was secret. No, it was published in this book. I wasn't keeping anything about myself secret. So all of these things prove they're liars. There's something in them that's so hate-filled that they've wanted to fill my life with that same hate. They said, well, I'm not going to be able to go anywhere where then they are not there. And that's who they are. They want to spend time with me. And that's what I think it is. I think it's people so obsessed with me. So when they keep trying to twist it in such a negative way, it's an obsession with me. It's a fixation with me. Oh, the other video where I couldn't remember how I got the uh, certificate of excellence. Here's the paperwork, and it says this is from August 1995. It says that my psychology department named me as a candidate for the American Psychological Association Minority Undergraduate Students of Excellence program in 1994. And the information submitted identifies you as an outstanding ethnic minority undergraduate student who has demonstrated the capacity, motivation, and potential to complete graduate level training in psychology. So this was what it was from. So that answers that question. I'm glad I found this because then that proves that. So I don't have to, verify that. So part of what I'm talking about now is that all of these things that I'm showing you as I'm packing up to get away from these people will show you I could not have lied about any of these things. There would be no reason to. Thank you for watching.